Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, guys? Hit the like button on the way in. Appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. What's up, Dame Dog? What's up, Anna? What's up, Rocks? What's up, Evo? What up, Bill? El Rondo? How are you guys? Hey, Roxanne. Emma, what's up, brother? I see you survived that plane crash. In fact, jeez. What's up, Kyle? All right, what do you say we just hop right into it? Let's not waste any time. Thank you, guys, everybody joining me here. I am Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. Welcome to everybody. Thank you to everybody joining me on this space as well. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Matt for having me over there. I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I am very, grateful to be a part of that movement as well. It is Wednesday, November 5th. You're watching the early show. I appreciate you for doing so. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing. If you want to go, a step above and beyond, there's a multitude of ways you can do that as well. Help support independent media that sells you nothing, that hides nothing behind a paywall, that makes you come out of pocket for viewing absolutely none of my content. There's a Venmo up in the corner if you want to send a buck or two. Try your luck in supporting some independent media. It goes a long way. You can sign up to be a channel member just underneath me. You can also sign up at patreon.com/BostonBrian, or just the easy route. Hop in the chat, send a good old super chat, super sticker. You can gift memberships as well. I would really appreciate it. It goes a long, long way in helping to support channels just like this and helping us grow. But what a night, what a day. It's a great night for Democrats. It was a great night for this country. It was a great night for democracy, but there is still a lot of work to do. Of course, we're going to be talking about the massive wins for Democrats, multiple states, multiple different races, and the Democrats dominated the entire way. We'll be diving into not only the reaction, and again, the reaction is something else that we need to be paying attention to here as well, because it's not just the races that we won or where we won them, right? It's more than that. It's the fear. It's the look of fear in the eyes of Republicans when they see the momentum behind candidates like Zohran Mamdani, when they see the momentum in the blue wave happening like they did last night, throughout different states, throughout a multiple range of different elections, from governors to, New York City mayors and others. But it was a great night, like I said, but we don't want to get cocky. We don't want to get complacent. We must double down now on everything that we saw that worked in these races, everything that got us to this moment, everything that got us to this point needs to be doubled down on, tripled down on, and just fucking pushed in the faces of not only the American people, but also everything that we've combated, from the bullshit coming from the right. But let me throw this up on the screen because, this is a Politico article from this morning. Democrats didn't just rebound, they dominated. And of course, Politico, not the most left-leaning of, publications, just to, kind of say the least, you know what I mean? But it says, quote, "This is a foreshadow of what we're going to see next year," said one strategist. And, very hopeful, very grateful for everybody that got out and supported all of these different candidates in the different states. Whether it be New York City, Virginia, New Jersey, Georgia, California, Mississippi. We saw positive results in every single one of those states. And I just want to thank everybody that got off of their asses, that made sure that they went out and cast their vote or did whatever they had to do in their necessary states to make sure that we got this result in. Like I said, great result for not only Democrats, great result not only for democracy, but a great result for this fucking country. And again, the reaction to it and the people that are reacting to it in the ways that they are reacting to it is a huge sign, is a huge tell that we are on the right path. Because when you have, people like Stephen Miller and Donald Trump coming out in support of Andrew Cuomo, when you have, people like Fox News and, Tim Pool and all of these other cats coming out and talking about how detrimental this is. And, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson with a word this morning on it. You can tell by the reaction of these people that, this is something that they're very worried about and could be a huge problem for Republicans going into midterms and could be a huge positive, a huge boost for momentum for Democrats going into midterms. And again, this is on top of the, ongoing Republican MAGA civil war that we've been, uncovering here on Blunt Politics, whether it's Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Mark Levin, all of these other cats that are now just fighting with each other, Steven Crowder, the list goes on, Tim Pool. It's good to see that as they're fighting with each other, we continue to take steps to regaining power in this country, or at least steps to make sure that we can mitigate the damage going forward in Donald Trump's the remainder of Donald Trump's term. But, just a little bit out of this article before we move on. And we got, a bunch of different clips to get to. Like I said, we'll be talking about and looking at Zohran's, victory speech here, because I think this was very, insightful and very inspiring. We won't get through the whole thing because we only have an hour here, but I just want to dive into that a little bit. And then we're getting into the reaction. So the reaction from, people like Fox News, Maria Bartiromo, this one from Newsmax, and the people here on the panel at Newsmax and what they have to say. Tim Cast IRL, Tim Pool's kid, his little clan there had a couple minutes on this whole thing, and you can tell they're really, really worried about this. Not only that, but Speaker of the House Mike Johnson had something to say about it as well. And then not only that, but Donald Trump this morning at one of his stupid remarks at breakfast there had something to say about it as well. So if we have time, we'll be diving into all of those different clips, the reaction to, the successes that the Democrats saw last night, not just with Mamdani, but again, in states, New York, Virginia, New Jersey, Georgia, California, and Mississippi all saw positive results if you're on Team Blue last night. But yeah, let's just dive into a little bit of this article here. Because it says, for Democrats, Tuesday night felt like 2017 all over again. All across the country, Democrats won big from the marquee races down to the ballot, to the down ballot contest. Counties that had shifted right a year ago veered back to the left, and the suburbs that powered Democrats' massive wins in the first Trump administration came roaring back. Exit polls even showed Democrats improved their margins with non-college educated voters. The strength of wins hints at Democrats' appetite to take on Trump as he ends his first year in office and voters' concerns about cost of living, right? And this is just to kind of detail a little bit or the successes that we saw last night. Some of them were very much highlighted. Others you probably didn't hear about as much. So, people like Abigail Spanberger, excuse me, I always get this wrong. Is this Mikey or Mickey? Correct me in the chat. I always get it wrong. I'm gonna say Mickey, but it's probably Mikey. I'm gonna say Mikey because my first guess is usually wrong. So I'm gonna go Mikey Sherrill cruised to double-digit victories in Virginia and New Jersey. 2 Georgia Democrats flipped seats on the state's Public Service Commission. The first non-federal statewide wins for a Democrat in nearly two decades. There, Democrats flipped a pair of Republican-held state Senate seats in Mississippi, cracking the GOP supermajority in a deep red state. And a successful California ballot measure here in California delivered 5 additional seats for the party's House margins ahead of the 2026 midterms, offsetting Texas's redistricting push. So again, some of those you probably knew about already. Add on Zohran Mamdani's win in New York City, and you can see just how dominant the Democrats were last night. I mean, again, when you're winning in places like Virginia, when you're taking back places, even small races, even races that you may not consider substantial or consequential in places like Mississippi are huge. Of course, the ballot measure here in California passed overwhelmingly to, again, offset the redistricting push in Texas, which is a great sign. What else? The 2 Georgia Democrats that flipped the seats on the state's Public Service Commission, the first non-federal statewide wins for Democrats there in nearly 2 decades. All positive signs. But again, let's not get cocky. Let's not get complacent. Let's figure out what we did right to get to this moment, and let's double and triple down on those policies and those, talking points. Whatever it took to get us in this position, we need to make sure that we continue hammering away at those points. And thank you to everybody in the chat. Every single one of you that's in one of these states, or fucking shared a message or shared something to get people off their asses to get involved in these states. You guys all played a part, and I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you so much. So just a little bit, and we'll move on here. It was an injection of life into a depleted, depressed Democratic Party that had been cast into political wilderness by Donald Trump's decisive victory a year ago. Democrats locked out of power in Washington have spent the last year soul searching and data digging as their brand sagged to historic lows. So again, not only is this good to see in terms of combating what the Republicans are doing in terms of momentum heading into midterms, but this was a desperately needed victory, a desperately needed sign of life by the Democrats, because people are so aggravated, so pissed off at what seems to be a lackluster, feckless attempt to again mitigate the damages or combat the damages and the policies set in place by this Trump regime, this second time around. So it's not so much, hey, we like what Trump is doing. It's more, hey, we can't stand what that guy is doing, and we wish you would combat him even more, which is why I think we've seen these, low polling numbers in terms of, Democrat approval numbers of recent, you know what I mean? So, and I've said that on the show before. But again, this is all good signs to see. Good to see last night. And what's even better to see, a chef's kiss. And I will allow us to gloat a little bit in this moment. Again, as I say, don't get cocky, don't get complacent. That does not mean that we can't celebrate, right? That does not mean that we can't, be exuberant and recognize, the work and the struggles that went into getting even this far. With people like Zohran Mamdani, with these other races that took place, especially in Mississippi and Georgia and those things, right? So it doesn't mean we can't celebrate. And what we can do is we can recognize how anxious this is making the Republicans and people on the right. And it's just great to see. But before we get into that, before we get into the reaction of the people on the right, let's listen into Zohran here. A little bit of Zohran's victory speech, if you will indulge me just a little bit. Let me put this on the screen for you guys. And I think he's got some copyright issues here as far as music is concerned, so I might have to be a little careful in the beginning. But again, this is Hope is Alive. This is from Zateo. Again, Zohran Mamdani's victory speech after toppling a New York City dynasty. And again, we'll just play the first couple minutes, and then we'll get into the right-wing reaction and the people that are reacting. It's not just the reaction from the right, but it's, again, who's speaking about it. Some of the top players, right up to the White House, making a plea to people. Again, even Donald Trump, as we talked about yesterday, trying to put his finger on the scale of this fucking election by threatening the citizens of New York City with, withholding federal funds if they were to elect Zohran as their mayor. And again, the people of New York City told fucking Donald Trump to pound sand and stick it right up his arse. And thank you, New York City. Thank you to the people of Virginia. Thank you to the people of New Jersey, Georgia, California, and Mississippi as well. You guys all played your part here. And again, this is just the beginning. This is just the start. This is just when the wheels start to get turning as far as momentum heading into midterms, and it's going to be a glorious sight to see if we can keep this going. So thank you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate you guys, everybody that stuck up, stayed up and watched last night and celebrated last night and was on social media, and, everybody that, again, played their part in getting these, messages out. And even if it's just kind of, sharing, Zohran's, moments and clips and videos, or if it was just getting people, educated about the other races in Mississippi, in Georgia, in New Jersey, in Virginia, in Pennsylvania. Like, if it was just people doing that, then you guys had a part to play, and you all should be happy and excited. You have your right to celebrate. So what do you say we get into just a little bit of this? And again, I apologize about if I have to skip a little bit of it, because I think he does play some copyright music like here in the beginning. So I'll skip to where he comes on. Here we go.
Thank you, my friends.
Thank you. Thank you.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands. My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name as we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few. New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change. A mandate for a new kind of politics. A mandate for a city we can afford. And a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that. On January 1st, I will be sworn in as the mayor of New York City. And that is because of you. So before I say anything else, I must say this. Thank you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refuse to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership.
Let them troll. If we got trolls, let them troll. As we gloat, they couldn't have picked a more perfect moment to come in and spread their bullshit. As we're sitting here gloating, as we're sitting here, reveling in our victories, in the spoils of war, as Donald Trump calls it. Let them fucking troll. Let them get it out. I'd be pissed too if I was on their side because they got fucking their ass handed to them last night. So troll away, trolls. Here we go. And this is as we listen to the victory speech from Zohran Mamdani. Victory speech.
We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum. Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. To every New Yorker in Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point, know this. This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too.
And it's an amazing speech, and I just, I implore you to go over in however you have to watch that, whatever platform, whatever channel you watch it on. Unfortunately, because of the time restrictions, I only got an hour with you this afternoon. I'm just not going to be able to cover the whole thing, but it is a fantastic speech. Definitely inspiring, something that you can really feel the momentum. You can really feel the passion. You can really feel how this is affecting the Republicans. And again, that's what I wanted to focus on here with the rest of my time in this, for this afternoon, is to focus on how much this is affecting Republicans. And again, who is speaking up about this? Who is complaining about this? And it is the top members, the people with the most power on the other side, because they know how dangerous this is to their entire fucking being, right? To to their entire way of thinking, to their entire, fucking grasp on power. And this is just a little bit from, different Republicans, this is Fox News. Then we'll be taking a look at fucking, Newsmax. And again, we're just going to be skimming through them. We're not going to be diving deep. Next one, you get Tim Pool's, crew and their reaction. And then, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And then we go to Donald Trump. So you can see, just how serious the Republicans are taking this and the effect that it has on them, especially, as in their speeches, they try to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. But just the fact that they're talking about it, just the fact that these players on the other side are having to waste their time, spend their time in front of cameras, in front of microphones, talking about or, telling their fans just how, just what's coming up the tracks. We better watch out for this train coming, because if we don't get the hell off the tracks, we're going to get our asses run the fuck over. And, that's what they're trying to, the message they're trying to get across, obviously not in so many words, to their base. But let's get into, some of the reaction here from people on the right. And again, we're going to skim through it. We'll just kind of glance at a couple minutes of each of these videos, just so you can kind of get an idea, again, of the response, because that's another glorious moment that we have to revel in here, which is not only the victories, but the reaction from the right and just how much this is getting under their skin. So what do you say? Hit that like button, if not for me, but for the Democrats' victories last night, if not for me in blunt politics, but for the momentum that democracy got last night, the momentum that we have going into midterms, which is something that we need to, again, double and triple down on things that got us to this moment. Let's figure out what wasn't useful. Let's determine what was useful, and let's fucking hammer those points until we cannot fucking hammer anymore, until we just, our arms are fucking limp because we've been using them so much, hammering so many fucking points away. All right, let's go. Let's dive into this one. Put this on the screen. Again, this is, I believe, Maria Fadaromo. Hold on, I got something for that. Yeah, I do. I think this is her intro. Maria Fadaromo. Yep. And some other clowns on Fox Business talking about this. And again, we'll just kind of skim through, see what their reaction is, see if we can get what vibes they're putting out. All right, let's dive into it. Thank you. Hit that like button. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast made to sift through the bullshit, the propaganda, and the lies of people just like this. The Fox News propaganda, Newsmax, Tim Pool, these assholes, and breaking it down for normal, everyday working class individuals like you, like me, because that's who's affected by these policies. That's who's affected by this bullshit, and that's who the mainstream media doesn't reach out to. So that's what I'm here for. I quit my career as a plumber because I'm passionate about these issues. I'm passionate about the threats that this country faced, and I dove headfirst into this, trying to do my part, and I hope that you guys will support me on that journey. So let's rock and roll. Let's get into it.
First, the hot topic of the hour: Democrats sweep major elections across the country last night.
Sweep! We sweep! Oh, I just love a good sweep. I wish I had a fucking broom, like you're at a good sporting event, like you're at the fucking, I don't know, like you're at the Red Sox from like the early 2000s, and they just fucking beat the hell out of the St. Louis Cardinals, or, and you're just walking around with that broom. Oh, it's so great because we swept the shit out of them. All right, here we go. Sorry.
Including in New York City's mayoral race and the governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey. Fox Business's Darren Botello.
Don't forget Mississippi. Don't forget Georgia, Mississippi, and what happened in California. I mean, if you're going to lay it on, you might as well lay it on them all at once, Maria. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat it. Let's go.
Live this morning in Washington with what comes next. Darren.
Hey, good morning, Maria. So I think we can say right now the polling turned out to be pretty accurate for those high-profile elections all down the East Coast. Democrats winning from New York.
Good. Well, at least you guys had forewarning that you were going to get your asses kicked, if that's what you're trying to get at. That's good.
To Virginia, starting with Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani besting Andrew Cuomo, running on his platform of tax the rich and free.
Man, that's crazy, because look at these numbers. What I'm not a huge mathematician, right? I don't know my maths very good as far as like off the top of my dome. But as far as like how much Sliwa took away from Cuomo, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if these numbers have changed, if they've kind of jumped or changed since this was calculated as such. But as far as a spoiler is concerned, you know what I mean? I know who Cuomo is going to be mad at, because he wasn't far off, and I'm not sure if it calculates as being exactly that as a spoiler. If not, it had to have been very, very close.
Transit over the river to New Jersey now. Democrat Mikey Sherrill, a former Navy helicopter pilot, securing her win over Republican Jack Ciattarelli. Then
smoked 56.2 to 43.2. Smoked 1.7 million to 1.3 million. Smoked.
going down to
Oh, and
Virginia
don't forget J.D. Vance's fucking couch fucker brother-in-law, son and daughter-in-law, whatever the fuck he is, got his ass kicked in, what was it, Cincinnati? Something like that. I think it was Cincinnati. He got his ass kicked too. Let's not forget. Let's just throw it all on him at once there, Maria. Huh?
Abigail Spanberger reclaiming the governor's
smoked 57.5 to 42.3. Smoked. You got your ass kicked, lady. You got your ass kicked. 1.9er to a 1.4er. Did I catch a 9er in there? What are you calling from a walkie-talkie? Ho! Hey! Well, where is it? Come on. There it is.
He says rectum damn near killed him.
for Democrats over winsome Earl Sears. Mamdani, of course, as you know, the most controversial of the races, with the 34-year-old ending now, for now, the Cuomo political dynasty, defeating former
He said that. He said that in his victory speech. You must have missed that. Either that, you're just completely ripping that part off.
So his 20-minute victory speech last night directly attacking the old political establishment, further pushing his far.
So here they play a clip from his victory speech, which we already played. So in the sake of time, I'll skip over and see if we can get to their commentary on the backside.
Been facing questions over his anti-police stances and accusations of anti-Semitism. Won the race pretty decisively, with that race being called, Maria, only 40 minutes after the polls closed at 9 p.m. Maria?
40 minutes, huh? Jesus Christ. People weren't even home yet. People were still on the train trying to get home from voting. It was already called. I love it.
Yeah, it was fast, Darren. Thanks very much, Darren Botelho.
Yeah, it was fast. It looked like a thing of boxed wine in front of Maria Bartiromo. It was gone real fast.
This morning, your reaction, Emily, Adam. What does that
And this is the
mean?
part I really like their reaction. Like, look at her. She kind of doesn't know how to approach this. She doesn't know really what to say. You know what I mean? And, she's kind of thrown it to these two. And let's see what these two unknowns, has-beens, never knowns, never was as hacks, people I don't know, had to say about this with Mornings with Maria.
Turn the volume up. That was the strangest thing I think I've ever heard, because.
And this is the second time I've heard somebody comment on the fact that Zohran said, turn the volume up, which is fucking very clear in messaging terms what you have to do. That means, again, what I was saying, pretty much everything that got us here, we have to double and triple down on. All of the rhetoric, all of the talking points, we need to turn the volume up on that. We need to pinpoint exactly what was beneficial to the campaigns, all of the campaigns that won throughout the country, and we need to hammer those points. That's what turn the volume up means. That's what, make sure that not only are we standing, firm on our beliefs, but we're making sure we're doing it with a bullhorn and a loudspeaker to make it even more noticeable, to make, to get even, our point across even further to people. That's what the fuck turn the volume up means, you dumb bastards.
Makes no sense. I don't know what he was referring to.
It does make sense. I just explained it. You're a fucking meathead and a moron, and you're just trying to fucking obfuscate as to how bad you guys did get your assholes reamed out last night.
I tell you what does make sense. Here in New York, 1% of the population pays 48% of the income tax. Capital goes where it's treated best. If he is going to pay for all these handouts by taxing the wealthy, people are going to leave. And it wouldn't.
I love this talking point of like, oh, geez, don't mistreat the fucking wealthy, the billionaires. Oh, my God, they're going to leave. If they're that fucking shitty of Americans, if they're that fucking lackluster in their enthusiasm to support their country, right, and to pay their fair share so that, everybody can have a fucking equal opportunity and at least a fucking, a life and a roof over their heads and food on the table, and they're going to fucking uproot their entire company, their entire family, and leave the state, then fuck them. Then fuck them. Tell them to stick their companies right up their assholes. Because if they're not willing to pay a little more, and they're willing to pay all the fucking, the money on the back end to, uproot their company and uproot their families and go to a completely different state, probably Texas or Florida or some fucking state where they can save on income or this tax or that tax, I'm sure, then fuck them. We don't need them. We want the people that do make money and actually do give back into society and aren't fucking too stingy to reach in their pockets and pay a fair share to make sure that, again, we can fucking have, I don't know, free free buses or, whatever it may be, housing for fucking homeless or, free health care, fucking you pick it. And again, the money that these billionaires aren't paying into the establishment, aren't paying into the society right now could go to better use. So to make it your prime fucking example, your prime talking point that, oh, we're going to offend the wealthy isn't doing what you're thinking it's doing there, buddy. All right. We eat the rich over here. That's what we do. I don't know. We're fucking hungry as hell. And that's what you guys just keep feeding us the wealthy and we'll just keep fucking mowing them down, right? You want to show your face in this country. You want to show yourself as being completely unpatriotic and unwilling to fucking, do what's right and pay your fair share. Then so be it. We'll blast your face all over every fucking social media platform out there. And we'll make sure that nobody, or at least the least amount of people, buy from your company as humanly possible. All right. And again, in the sake of time, actually, let's just hear. I want to hear what the young lady on the other side says. Then we'll move on. Take a lot
to completely upset the balance of payments here in New York City because, again, 1%. You antagonize a quarter of that 1%, and it all implodes.
Before the election, we were talking about really how much power the mayor of New York really has to implement these things. Jeffries this morning on Wall Street out with a report telling their clients a couple of the things that he actually could do. Mamdani's proposals within mayoral authority include broad latitude to advance policies affecting property owners.
Great.
And
love it.
Renewable energy and immigration.
Love
intensifying enforcement of housing codes, accelerating city fleet electrification,
Love
enforcing sanctuary protections.
Love it.
Relies on the mayor's ability to issue executive orders.
Love
Emily.
it.
Well, Mamdani's policies ultimately will fail if he's able to implement them. That already might be a failure there, but we know socialist policies fail.
What that for? Come on, you had that entire time to come up with what you were going to say, to come out with that fucking fiery first statement, and you fumbled it at the 1 yard line.
No matter if he's able to implement them or not. And I want to point out that
so they're failures no matter if he's able to implement them or not. Like, how does that work? How can they be a failure if he's not able to implement them and we don't actually get to see them in practice? Like, again, okay.
November 5th feels dramatically different from last November 5th when President Trump won the popular vote, won 7 swing states. Now we have an anti-American, anti-capitalist, anti-police candidate who just was elected to run the financial capital of the world.
Watch it, lady. Watch it, lady. You know who you're calling fucking un-American right now is every single person in New York City, whether they be Jewish, Christian, whether they be fucking Indian, Chinese, whether they be German, whether they be French. Doesn't matter what they are. You're now calling them un-American if they voted for Zohran, and he got a shitload of votes, lady. So you better watch who you calling un-American, because I know you're trying to, attack Zohran, but really what you're doing is calling everybody that voted for Zohran un-American. And it's probably not the best thing to do, especially to New York City people. I just, being from Boston and having been a rival of theirs in sporting events for, my entire fucking life, I can tell you that, something you don't really want to poke the bear. You don't want to, I guess that's us that you don't want to poke the bear with. So probably, you don't want to, you don't want to give them any newspaper material. That's not what I'm trying to say. But they usually say to us they don't want to poke the bear. So I had to rephrase that. All right, let's move on to, again, Newsmax, just to continue this, beauteous run that we're on of looking at people and different right-wing platforms freaking out about the performance of the Democrats last night. And again, without getting too much into it and wasting too much time, let's dive right into it. Again, we'll just play the first couple minutes, couple seconds of this just to kind of get the flavor, the feeling, the vibe of these people. How, you can tell by their faces right off the bat that they are not too fucking happy, ladies and gentlemen. They are not too pleased. If we're going off facial features alone and facial recognition and facial fucking, just going by what we're going off on the resting bitch faces I'm seeing here, not too happy about what happened. But let's play. Let's see here. Maybe they'll change our mind.
New York City voters deciding by a large margin to put a Democrat socialist in office. Here are just a few of the comments from Zohran Mamdani during his victory address. Take a listen.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed.
And again, for the sake of time, we played that. I'm going to skip over to their reaction. And you guys can more than welcome to go back and listen to Zohran's victory speech. There's multiple platforms, multiple channels that have it. But just for the sake of time, let's get into the right-wing reaction.
Victory speech, more like a challenge to the President of the United States.
That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. I'm so glad you said that, because that's why it has so much momentum. That's why he has so much passion behind him, because not only was this a fight for the race to become New York City mayor, but this was also directly aimed at this fucking corrupt, hack, fat-ass, flub, fucking stupid, moronic president that we have sitting in this White House that is actively running this fucking country into the ground as he covers his asshole in gold, right, and builds fucking Jeffrey Epstein golden ballrooms and shit, right? So again, that's why we need this so much, because not only it stands for so much more than just the seat being New York City mayor. It stands for the passion, the fight, the momentum, the anger behind Democrats right now that they have, that we're going to use heading into midterms to make sure that we wipe the fucking floor with you Republicans. And, you know, this is just the beginning. This is just the start, and we can't get cocky. We can't get complacent. This is just the beginning, and we need to make sure there's a lot that can happen between now and midterms that can absolutely stop the flow that we have, this momentum going. But we need to make sure that, you know, fucking small creators, big creators, I promise to do my part. And again, doing everything possible to make sure that we continue this momentum, continue this run, continue this role that we have heading into midterms. And I just need your help. I just need your support, whether it be just liking and subscribing, or whether it be financially to help keep this fucking channel going. Because again, I gave up a career in plumbing because I am so passionate. And it was so evidently obvious to me the dangers that this country faced, and that the mainstream media wasn't going to be up to the moment in order to, you know, sift through the bullshit, in order to make sure that the people knew exactly what was going on. And, you know, I felt so passionate about it. I gave up a career to do this, and I just hope that you guys would support me in this venture. But let's continue to roll.
I don't even know what volume he wants turned up. He
Again,
needs a lot.
second time, and, you know, instead of, you know, going after the policies, and instead of, you know, saying, you know, going after what he said in the speech, like going the volume up. I don't understand this, volume up. Well, we do. So shut the fuck up, critique something else. As long as his own side, his own people know what he's talking about, that's all that matters. You guys are just too ignorant and stupid to recognize what he means. Why don't you just move on from that fucking point?
Stuff from the federal government, because he wants to give away stuff that's free, and nothing's free. What do you think?
It just shows what that race was all about. The New York Democrats elected somebody that has basically picked up on a trend in the Democrat Party. They are being pulled so far to the progressive left that anybody that's considered a moderate there by today's standards 10 years ago would have been a radical.
And it's funny because that's how it may look, because, you know, when you've gone so far to the right with your party like the Republicans are, and then you go and you turn and you look left, it may look like the Democrats are fucking miles away, which we are. But that's only because you guys have been shifting steadily or rapidly to the right. You know what I mean? And again, in that rapid push to the right that the Republicans have done, that has in turn, as I've been saying on this show, has had an absolute effect on fucking people on the other side in helping radicalize them, right? And making them believe that we need drastic and fucking immediate change in order to combat what we're seeing on the right. So when you're seeing, you know, the old fucking ladies out at the No Kings talking about, hey, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, you know, holding up these signs that you wouldn't normally expect them to be holding up, or that example that we saw where the one lady was talking about Charlie Kirk, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like, you can see that people have been radicalized. And I say that nobody has done more to radicalize me and my political beliefs than Donald Trump and the Republican Party in the last 10 years. And they have nobody to blame but themselves if they think, if they believe, if they perceive the left as being radicalized. But I can assure you it's only because you guys have taken a bullet train to the right that when you look left, it seems like the Democrats are a mile away, which we are, but it's because of the Republicans and not because of the Democrats. We're just trying to claw back some sanity, claw back some of the fucking rights, claw back some of the norms and fucking, you know, rules and regulations in this country that we once lived by, even though we had, you know, a vast majority of things to fix. At least we had that. We're just trying to get back to that fucking moment so that we can, again, build on this momentum and, again, do what we need to do to fix our society and help the most amount of people that we could possibly help. But let's see here. What time we got? 10:40. All right, 2 more minutes from these assholes, and then we'll head into Tim Pool and his morons to see what they had to say. But again, you can see how these people are not very happy. You can see how they're all talking about it because they know the risks they run if they don't try to combat this and get ahead of it right now, that this could spiral out of control, especially, you know, they know. And these people, a lot of them do know that what Donald Trump is doing, the policies and his actions are deeply not only offensive, but unpopular to the American people. And that's not going to help. Like, they need all the help they can. And seeing this momentum from the Democrats this early on scares the living fucking daylights out of them. And I love that it does so. But let's just do another minute of this guy, and then we'll move on to Tim Pool, Dim Fool, and his idiots.
Progressive left and labeled a socialist and Marxist and fill in the blanks. So it's really unfortunate that Democrats refuse to stand up and say something that about their party heading down this path. Like, speak now or forever hold your peace. The ones who are standing
again, we're choosing. You do understand we're actively choosing this. Like I wouldn't stand up and fucking object at my own wedding. That would be kind of fucking stupid, right? So why, if we're actively calling for this, saying this is what we need, getting behind candidates like this, celebrating the momentum that we saw last night from the Democrats, why the fuck would we stand up and object to it, you dumbass?
alongside him are endorsing the future of this party.
This looks like a fucking right-wing clone of what's his name? Fucking the Canadian. Who's the Canadian? Who's in the Canadian YouTuber there? I can't think of his name. For crying out loud. He was with TYT for a little bit there. Canadian YouTuber. Come on, hit me with it in the chat. Hit me with it in the chat. God damn it. I can never think of his name. You guys will get me. But he looks Lance. That's the guy's name. Lance. He looks like a fucking right-wing clone of Lance from the Surfs.
If they do not say, hey, let's actually pull back a little bit, let's start to reestablish ourselves as some of the more moderate Democrats that you saw.
So this is their plea right now. This is their plea to the moderate Democrats. You know, remember how Donald Trump came out in support of Andrew Cuomo, same as Stephen Miller did, saying that they'd rather a bad Democrat over a socialist, Marxist, communist, radicalist, blah, 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 you know. But again, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make their final plea to what they deem as the centrists in the party to, look away from Zohran, look away from the momentum that he has, look away from his rhetoric, look away from his policies that have been so fucking popular that got him elected New York City mayor in and around this fucking propaganda fight that the right has been waging, the war that they've been waging against Zohran. He still managed to pull it out, and they are fucking afraid. And let's hop on to Tim Pool, because Newsmax typically has absolutely nothing to give. And again, I just want to, kind of revel in their misery a little bit. But again, this is Tim Pool and his fools. Let me throw this on the screen. I'm not sure if Tim Pool's even here. I think he just kind of left it up to his merry gang of morons to have at it for the day. He was so pissed off. He might be here. I'm not sure. But, he might be so fucking pissed off. He's probably crying in the bathroom about last night's results. But let's take a look at this. This is titled, what was the title of this one again? This was Zohran Mamdani wins election. New York City is cooked. Communists taking over. All right, let's see what these fucking morons had to say.
The first polls.
He is. He's so fucking forgetful. He is just so forgettable that I just didn't even see that he was here. All right, my bad.
In from New York, and Mamdani is ahead by about looks like just about 12 points.
Yep, and he smoked him, and he won. I'll just in case you're not there in time yet, I'll save you the time. He smoked him. He won.
Just around there. So Cuomo,
look at their faces, bro. Look at their here. I'll get out of the way. Look at their faces looking at the screen, right? Look at this fucking jackass. Look like he just stepped off the 18th fucking green. And then this guy looked like he just stepped off the shooting range. He ain't fucking looking too happy looking at that screen. And then this fucking, cartoon looking Beavis looking motherfucker on the bottom left. And then I don't know what the dude is on the bottom right, but he ain't looking too fucking proud and loud right now either. But they are just not happy, folks. Not happy looking at these numbers, and you can tell by their commentary too.
Trailing by just shy of 100,000 votes so far with 0% reporting, but this is 818,000 votes in so far. So, oh boy. She now has Mamdani at 99% to win.
Is that good? I don't know. Is that good, chat? 99%. Is that a good thing? Is that good? It does get better, I think, by one, but is that just, I'm curious, Tim, is that good? Is that a good thing for Republicans and Democrats? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, you see, this
98 right now.
This is like Captain Obvious moment, but if Mamdani is over 50%, then the Sliwa spoiler thing is just like a moot point.
Yeah.
Again, that's Captain Obvious moment, but it's true. Like all this hand wringing over Sliwa.
He's not going to finish at 8. He's not going to finish over 50%.
Yeah, him and
I think he finished at what, 50.4, because Tim just on a roll, just fucking really good in his predictions. The same guy that said, I think in 2016, was it 2016 or was it 2020? I forget. One of the elections, Tim predicted that Donald Trump was going to have a 50-state fucking run where he's going to win all 50 states. We know how that went. And again here, predicting that Zohran wouldn't get over 50%. I believe he got 50.4, if I'm remembering the number that we watched earlier correctly.
Well, it depends on where it got counted first, obviously.
Were you guys also
Right. So this is still preliminary.
Staten Island's gonna go heavy for Sliwa.
Were you guys unsettled by the amount of conservatives who were willing to fight this losing battle for a Democrat and kind of go all out for them?
Cuomo?
Yes.
Cuomo?
Yeah.
I love this argument because what they're doing here is they're indirectly calling out Stephen Miller. They're indirectly calling out Donald Trump, right? Because when you think, right, like, oh, people on the right who fucking bent the knee in terms of what Republicans would see as bending the knee and went and endorsed Andrew Cuomo, who were the first two people, the two most prominent people you think of that did that? Well, it was the president of the fucking United States, and then it was Stephen Miller, and I'm sure even people in between them, as far as Republican politicians, that said or implored people to vote for Cuomo over Mamdani, right? So here, when he says, oh, did it sicken anybody to see that Republicans were willing to, get behind Cuomo? And, so again, these people unwilling to name Donald Trump when they're exactly and specifically talking about situations that he's involved in. I relate this to the Epstein files, where they're so willing to call out Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, but not looking at the fucking obvious perpetrator in front of their eyes, who has the most motive, who has the most power, the most ability to, again, hide these files and to, again, order people not to release the files and to cover them up, right? So they're so blinded on this fucking end, and they're so unwilling to call out Donald Trump to be, to stay on his good side, that they make themselves look absolutely fucking moronic at every turn by calling out the total wrong people, or at least making themselves look weak and feckless and, like fucking just babies, because they're, running around the edges of calling out Donald Trump without actually naming him.
Oh, yeah, Cuomo should have dropped out and endorsed Sliwa.
Yeah, it was so ridiculous.
No, but the amount of conservatives who are lobbying for Sliwa to drop out and then just completely backing Cuomo as though Cuomo
you mean like Donald Trump and Stephen Miller?
Ever existed beyond 6 months ago is, frankly, it's disgusting, and it's pathetic. It's pathetic how sad Republicans are willing.
Wow, calling the Fuhrer pathetic. I don't know, brother. You may want to watch your tone, watch your step. I know you're dressed very nice, but you look a little dark to me, brother. I don't know if fucking Donald Trump wouldn't think for 2 seconds on deporting your ass. I can tell you that much. Your mustache is giving you away big time. You better watch out. I hope you got your paperwork on you. Das papel, una papels, please. Papeles. Make sure you got them on you, because, again, even that suit ain't fooling anybody.
To drop their guy and hop on board with a guy who literally hates their guts and would have called them a fascist,
or kill their grandparents.
Curtis Sliwa was also counter-signaling the president a lot, and during these debates he was saying that he wouldn't cooperate with ICE and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, because Andrew Cuomo's never counter-signaled the President Trump before.
Well, fine, but he's a Democrat, so you can expect that more than if this guy's a Republican and we're supposed to be backing him, but he's not going to cooperate with Trump's ICE deportations. I don't know if that's
he straight up said don't deport illegal immigrants.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, saying that they believe that Andrew Cuomo would have 100% cooperated with Donald Trump's ICE deportations, which is another dead giveaway, above and beyond the endorsement from Trump, above and beyond the endorsement, from fucking Stephen Miller. And again, it goes on too, because you got Mike Johnson here, again, running up the chain of important people on the right that are forced to comment on this, are forced, to make some sort of statement because of the overwhelming victory, because of the momentum behind Mamdani, behind, other Democratic candidates, and the obvious anger being directed at this fucking regime, this administration, for its ridiculous and asinine policies, from tariffs to fucking, to what's going on with the Venezuelan fishing boats, to war with the Mexican cartels, to the removal of Maduro, to seizing Venezuelan oil, to, fighting with allies like Canada, to fighting and not helping allies like Ukraine, to buddying up to people like Putin and Xi Jinping in China, to hurting our farmers. I mean, the list is just fucking endless as to the way that he's negatively impacted our society, our people, since taking over in this second term. And now they're starting to see that anger, even though they were relying on this low, this low approval number by the Democrats, or for the Democrats, I should say, as something that they can build upon. But they're quickly realizing right now that anger is more that the Democrats aren't doing enough. The Democrats aren't going far enough. They aren't fucking fighting hard enough. And they're quickly realizing that is not, people liking what they're doing. So let's dive into just a minute of this. Again, this is Speaker of the House forced to comment on the wins, the victories last night by the Democrats, and, give his bullshit speech. And then again, the next one is the President of the United States forced to comment, and his is just really short as well. So let's dive into this. Please hit that like button, smash that thumbs up. This is just a really quick clip, and then we'll dive on to these other ones.
From the backbench to their leadership, Democrats have fallen in line behind the socialist candidates. Hakeem Jeffries, as you know, is the highest-ranking Democrat in the House. He gave his full blessing to Mamdani and his socialist agenda. Chuck Schumer, the highest-ranking Democrat in the Senate and the highest-ranking Jewish leader in America, flirted with endorsing Mamdani.
Endorsing. Oh, the endorsements are flying here, Swisher. I smoke swish and do endorsements is what I do there, sweetheart. It's really good for you to sweet talk me like that there, sweet.
Bitter end. Never mind the fact that Zohran has embraced anti-Semitic rhetoric.
Nope, he hasn't embraced anti-Semitic rhetoric. That is just bullshit propaganda that's been fucking debunked time and time again, been disproven, and it's just mis or disinformation at this point by, again, the Speaker of the House, who needs to come out here and say these exact things to combat, again, the momentum that he saw happen last night.
Promised to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel.
As he should. As he motherfucking should. That's what happens when an international fucking warrant is put out on an international criminal by an international court, is they should, anytime they step foot in one of those observing countries that is, in relationship with that international criminal court, should absolutely lock that fucking criminal bastard up. Not only that, but he should be locked up in his own country for crimes he committed above and beyond the genocide that he perpetrated in Gaza, among the Palestinian people, and still does to this day, right? So should be arrested. I'm all for it. So are you going to say things that are going to, get people upset? Are you trying to spark outrage? Because so far, I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far.
If he visits New York City again. And then there's President Obama, who called Mamdani over the weekend to extend his praise and act as a sounding board for the young socialist. You can't make this stuff up. The man who made healthcare unaffordable with his own socialist scheme is advising the man whose false promises will surely make life unlivable for millions of New Yorkers who cannot afford to flee the city.
Cannot afford to flee the city. Again, this is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson doing everything he possibly can to make this seem like the worst possible outcome, the worst possible choice to stoke fear, to make sure that the citizens are on edge, right? Because he knows that this isn't good for him and his party. He has to do something, and this is what he was sent out to do.
Have we said from this podium every morning, we talk about Mamdani for two reasons. It's a bellwether.
Every morning, right? Just think about that. As we sit on this podium every morning and talk about Mamdani, talking about the New York City mayoral race as the Speaker of the House during a fucking 36, 37-day shutdown, the longest shutdown in our country's history, as you guys have complete and total control over the fucking government in every single branch, down to the Supreme Court and more. And they're talking about the New York City mayoral race. Just goes to show, just proves to you how much this means to them, or how much they recognize this means to the country, and how much momentum and passion is behind this singular race, right? And then we add that up with all of the other fucking dominant victories that we saw last night in places like, again, fucking New York City, Virginia, New Jersey, Georgia, California, Mississippi. Add those all together, then, they're starting to see the fucking problems stack up in front of their faces here in terms of going into midterms with anything even resembling a fair shot.
Democrats, many of whom represent districts with much less blue than New York City, have embraced him with open arms. And because his brand of Marxism is truly a bellwether for the Democrats nationwide, we pointed out that other major metropolitan areas in the country are facing the same threat with candidates similar to Mamdani. And we're going to continue to call out their effort to mainstream and normalize socialism and Marxism in America. Working families watching this play out have a right to know that socialism...
Just think of how much time he's spending speaking about this, right? Just, it's not even the words that he's saying necessarily. It's that he's taking the time out of, again, what is the longest shutdown now in American history, that he is solely responsible. He and his government is solely responsible. The government that his party has fucking complete and total control over. And he's talking this length of time about the New York mayoral race. So again, just showing you how much it means to these people, and then we'll move on because, he doesn't say anything further to, the next biggest step, the next biggest guy in line that is forced to comment on this, which is fucking Donald Trump. And he spoke this morning, and I'll see if I can scroll ahead here to save you guys some time of where he started. And again, this is just, I think he speaks for about a minute or two, not even. So don't run, don't leave like I'm going to force you to, subject you to this whole thing. It's just here we're in the first couple minutes where he addresses what happened last night. And you can tell that even he knows, he recognizes it because he's kicking the media out. He tells everybody here he's kicking the media out so he can have a meeting with everybody afterwards to discuss what happened last night. So if they're having a meeting to discuss what happened last night, you know that they're fucking taking this seriously, and you know that this means a lot more to the Democrats, to the momentum of midterms, than, even we're giving it credit for. So check this out. This is funny too. So again, we're going up the line here of not only MAGA commentators, but, MAGA politicians, Speaker of the House, all the way up to the fucking president that is forced to comment on the victories the Democrats dominated in last night. And listen to what he says here. Listen to what he says.
Entrance, I thought we were just going to sit down and talk a little bit. We talk about exactly 1 year ago, we had that big, beautiful victory. Exactly 1 year. And last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was
very Democrat areas. Those areas such as Georgia, Mississippi, you know what I mean? Those very Democrat areas that, Democrats dominated in last night in, fucking multiple states, multiple races, and again, in dominant fashion. But again, here, the president forced to comment on it, forced to talk about it, and listen to what he says. He's going to be kicking out the media, and he's going to be having a discussion with his fucking, I don't know if he says with his cabinet or with just some of the people in his crew about this. Listen to this.
For Republicans, I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody, but we had an interesting evening, and we learned a lot.
An interesting evening. You mean you got your fucking asses kicked? You mean somebody fucking kicked that neck gina up and down the office 19 friggin' times last night as you sprayed ketchup on the walls and bashed in your Diet Coke button for the 14th fucking time? You just know somebody was cleaning ketchup off the walls last night.
And we're going to talk about that, and I'll say a few remarks, and then after that, I'll ask the press to leave. The press has been very, very nice to us the last couple of months. They were great to us. And
so he says he's going to have the press leave. He throws them a couple compliments, right? He tries to butter them up, get them on the good side as far as, maybe reporting on the Democrats' victory last night. I think that's what this little sly move is to do, is to kind of butter them up so that they don't report on the dominant fashion of the victories last night the way that, they should, basically, right? So listen to what he says here. He's going to kick everybody out. He already said that.
In terms of the foreign visits with China, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, and they were actually terrific. So I want to thank you for that. I'm sure you'll get back to your normal ways soon. But we did a great job over in China, and we've done a great job in turn.
Wait a minute. He didn't go to China. Hold on. He met the leader of China, but he didn't go to China. The leader of China went to him in South Korea, if I'm not mistaken, right? Does he think he went to China?
But we did a great job over in China. And
you didn't go to China, you dumb motherfucker. You were in South Korea. The Xi Jinping came to you and met you there. What are you talking about?
Turning off wars. We stopped 8 wars. 8 wars.
Oh, here we go.
And we have 1 to go, as you probably know, and that'll get stopped also. But we've done a great job. So it's really been an honor to do it. And I did it with many of the people in this room. Every one of you I know, and every one of you I like. I like our leaders. I like everybody. But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented.
So he's going to have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented, which means people are getting fucking scolded. People are getting yelled at. People are getting screamed at, right? Because they know just how detrimental this could be, or definitely is, to their campaign to going into midterms, right? So again, I don't think I've ever heard him say that he's kicking the press out to have this like fucking emergency meeting with his crew, be based on like several elections that took place, whether they be gubernatorial, whether they were like federal or state seats, right? all the way down to New York City mayoral seats. Like, he's going to call this fucking emergency press conference, not press conference, but meeting with his crew, his clan. He's going to kick the media out. Like, that just goes to show how serious they're taking this, right? Well, not serious they're taking this, but how bad this is for them, right? Because God knows what ideas come out of it, not giving them fucking any credit. But, you know, this just at least goes to show that they know the damage that was started last night and the momentum that was created. So, you know, I really do appreciate you guys. But, you know, as far as running out of time, we have done so. I'm going to kick it over to my man, Jeff Waldorf, over there on this space. Thank you so much to all the mods over there on this space. Thank you so much to Matt, the letter hack over there, for having me and creating this little idea that, you know, lets people watch different platforms, watch different creators on different spaces, which is just fucking amazing. He's done a lot of work to get this going, and I really do appreciate him. He's got great people, you know, not least of which is Jeff Waldorf, who's coming up right now. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody at this space. Make sure you're hitting the like over there, subscribe to this space. And if you're not subscribed over here at the Blunt Politics, me and Boston Brian, please make sure you're doing so. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys over in this space. And if you're from Blunt Politics, make sure you stick around, and I'll make sure to thank everybody that sent in and contributed to this show. But until next time, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Make sure you're checking out Jeff Waldorf over on this space. I'll throw it over to Jeff now. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. All right. And then for you unbelievable patrons that we have here on the old YouTubes, make sure you stick around so I can thank you wonderful individuals, give you the shout out and the highlight that you guys deserve first and foremost, as we always do. I'm going to go in here to the old Venmos. I'm going to see if anybody was kind enough to send a Venmo over. Oh, we do have a few. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate Robert, thank you so much. Brian, thank you so much. Karen, thank you so much. Damon, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And then I'll go down the list and thank everybody, because I know there was a couple shows I missed there. So Thomas, thank you so much. Allison, Moms, as always. Terrain, sorry if I'm getting that name wrong. Teague, Damon again. Nancy, as always. Jenny Faye, Moms again. Michael, Victoria, Linda, I really do appreciate you guys for keeping this show going, because we definitely, you know, not to keep this going any longer, but we need your help here at Blunt Politics. You know, I know I mentioned it a few times during the show, and I don't want to, you know, sound too repetitive, but, you know, we definitely need your help here. Financially, it is becoming increasingly more difficult and not easier at this point to make this work. Like I said, because I am so passionate about these subjects, these situations, because I thought that my, you know, minuscule knowledge of fascism and World War II could help and be of some assistance, I did give up, you know, a career to do this, to bring you the highlights, to bring you the news, to bring you the information, to, you know, try to help inform and educate people. And I would just, you know, kind of implore you guys. And I know there's a ton of you that have been around for a long time and have done a lot to support this show. And I'm not necessarily speaking to you because, you know, you guys know who you are. But if you are in the financial position to give $1 or $2, that's all I ask for. Please make sure that you're, you know, you're doing so. If you're, you know, you're in the position to do so and you're willing to, please make sure you find a way to do so, whether it be Venmo up in the corner, whether it be sending a super chat, a super sticker, whatever it may be. Don't bust your wallet. Don't, you know, don't make yourself broke. If it's your last fucking dollar, spend it on yourself. If you're not in the financial position to do so, don't. Like, share, and subscribe are just as helpful. But again, the shitty part of this is that, you know, when you don't take ad revenue, when you don't, you know, talk to fucking corporate sponsors, when you don't hide anything behind a paywall, you know, it's, you know, it's forced, you know, I'm forced to be reliant upon the generosity. And again, if I don't tend to repeat the need for that generosity, then it tends to go by the wayside. So I would just ask you guys one more time to please, if you're in the financial position to do so, help the channel. And again, even if it's not me, if it's another channel, another independent creator that gives you the most bang for your buck, support them. And again, it'll all trickle down the line somehow. But we're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 1,000 members here, which is just a huge milestone. So I thank everybody that's helped get us to that moment. And let's get into thanking some fabulous people here on the old YouTubes. Catch my whiff, leading it off here. I appreciate it. It's awesome to hear the Beantown accent from an independent media creator. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. Thank you so much for the contribution. I appreciate seeing the new names in the chat. It's really nice to see. I thank you guys for giving me an opportunity, a shot. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, hit that like button on the way out. Very much helps the channel. Share this out. You know, give it to a friend, share it to a coworker, share it, you know, somewhere online. You know, talk about it in other chats if you could. Bring it up, if you think it'll help other people, I appreciate it. But catch my whiff. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to you, Jerry. Shout out to you. Dems doing great in elections. Keep up the good fight. Much love. Something US. Sorry, for some reason StreamYard doesn't show me a lot of the emojis there, so they get lost in translation. But I know it was good. I know it was something good you were saying, Jerry. I appreciate you, and shout out to you, Yvonne. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for all that you do. Please make sure we're reaching out to Yvonne in the chat there, making sure we're saying thank you to everybody gifted memberships, donating to the show, keeping us running here. So thank you, Yvonne. Not only that, but the 10 gifted. Let's fucking go. I haven't been this happy in a while. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Well, don't do that. Don't pass out. Please don't pass out unless you've already hit the like button, subscribed, and donate. Then you're okay. Then you can get some rest. But otherwise, stay awake. But I appreciate you, Yvonne. Thank you so much for all that you do. C7, congratulations. Shout out to you for becoming a member for 13 months, over a year now. I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for your fight and your contributions to independent creators. It means a lot. It shows a lot, and it goes a long way. I can't express or divulge that enough. How much that it helps you guys when you guys contribute and donate in keeping this chat running. So thank you guys. Thank you C7. Thank you Coco as well. You guys, US got this. Oh, from Canada. I got you. You guys in the US got this. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the momentum. There's a lot of great people online from different parts of the world showing their support for the United States as well. And it's great to see that we still have some people that are, not only supportive, but believe in the will and resistance that is, taking place here in the United States. So thank you, Coco. Appreciate your help from north of the border. Thank you, Nancy. Congratulations. Shout out to you for being a member for 7 months. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do. And, thank you for being here every show. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. And congratulations again. Bridget, same thing. Blue tsunami has struck. I fucking love it. Again, let's not get cocky. Not saying you are, but this just reminded me to say, let's not get cocky. Let's not get complacent. And again, we need to continuously identify the good things, the useful, beneficial policies and talking points and maneuvers that got us to this point, right? And we need to make sure that we are tripling and quadrupling down on those things. So absolutely right, Bridget. Good to see the blue tsunami last night. A lot of work to do. We cannot rest. We are just getting started. And thank you so much. Shout out to you, Bridget. Appreciate you. Yvonne's back in the game. Let's go. Let me tell you something. In Jamaica, they would say the incumbent got crap and paralyzed. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. And, shout out to everybody on the aisles there. I hope everybody is, recovering in as fast and as best as possible way. Just that storm was unbelievable to see. So hopefully if you got friends or family in the area as well, Yvonne, hopefully they stayed safe. Shout out, and we wish the best, sending the best vibes from Blunt Politics over to the people of Jamaica, and also you, Yvonne. Thank you so much for what you do. Babyface, let's fucking go, bro. Let's go. Let's fucking go, Brian. You rock. No, you guys rock. I keep telling you that. I just have a camera, a microphone, and a light. You guys are the people that keep this chat running. You guys are the people that keep other chats running. You guys are the people that keep, democracy flowing and keeping the momentum behind. Like the momentum that we talk about here. I know we talk about it like it's this other thing, and like it's not right in front of us as we can touch, but it is. You guys are the momentum. That momentum that we're talking about here is you guys in the chat, you guys in other chats, you guys in these cities and states that are showing these victories, that are out protesting, that are out, celebrating these victories. Like, you guys are the momentum. So let's not, I know we talk about it like it's this far away, untouchable thing, but it's right here in our chat with you guys every single day. And I thank you guys for it. So I don't rock. You guys fucking rock. So I appreciate you, babyface. Thank you, JD, as always, for your super stickers, my friend. Just incredible to see you here every single day contributing. I couldn't be here without you. And I thank you as much as I can possibly. Thank you, my friend. So JD, Mr. Android as well. Facebook feed. Yeah, I went down. I got that back up. Thank you, Mr. Android, for letting me know. I appreciate that. Wise Girl, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. You guys are fantastic. I just shout out to all your support. Shout out to your help. I know everybody's spread thin right now. I know everybody's anxious and worried about, the final impacts on the economy. And I know not everybody is in the position, to even bust a buck and support anybody. So again, if you're not in the position to do so, please don't. I don't want to, again, take the food out of your mouth or anything like that. It's just, if you are, think about donating. it kills me to think that people may be, donating when they can't do other things that are very important in their own lives. So Carol, thank you so much. Wise Girl, thank you so much. Pam, thank you so much. Make sure we're thanking Carol for the 5 gifted memberships. These memberships go a long way. It comes out of pocket from these people, and it goes a long way in helping this channel. So thank you, Carol. Thank you, Pam, as well. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Wayno. Let's fucking go. Thank you, Wayno. Great to see you here all the time. Thank you for contributing all the time. Thank you, Maria, as well. Congratulations. Shout out to you on being here for 14 months. Let's fucking go. Angela, shout out to Angela for the 1 gifted. Shout out to Karen for being here for 4 months. Thank you, Brian, for all that you do. And again, I return the thank yous to you guys for all that you do, because that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me motivated. Thank you, Kit, for becoming a new YouTube member. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting independent media. It's just, what else can I say? I appreciate you guys giving me that opportunity. Thank you, Coco, again. Thank you, Carol, again. Thank you, Flipper. What's up, Flipper? Doing great, Brian. Just sent 10 on Venmo. Oh, thank you, Flips. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. And then thank you, Peter. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Karen. All of you guys. In case I missed you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, Slacks. Oh, Slacks. Hold on, brother. Hold on. I got you. I was wearing this last night. It must have been good luck. Must have been good luck, my man, because I was wearing this last night while the Democrats were kicking ass in all the elections. So just in case all of you are wondering where the Dungaree dog comes from, where he calls Dungaree dog Logan, this was sent to me a while ago by Slacks, his band. Just a shout out to Dungaree Dogs, New York City, for their elections, for their support of democracy. So thank you, Slacks. This was good luck, and I promise I'll be wearing that, at least not on top, but if not underneath for the next few election nights, because it's good luck. But thank you, Slacks. Thank you for your passion. I appreciate you, brother. That goes for No Money G as well, rounding it out here. Brian kicks MAGA's evil ass. Let's fucking go. Literally the goal I set out to do was exactly that, No Money G. So couldn't make me happier to hear you say that. Thank you. Congratulations. Shout out to you on being here for 6 months. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. I'll see you tonight for our late show, 8:30 p.m., 5:30 here on the West Coast. So that's 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 here on the West Coast. Make sure you're hitting that notification bell, and we'll be discussing and checking back in with more right-wing reaction to these election results. And again, we'll get the chance to look a little bit more in-depthly at some of these reactions, given we have a little bit more time tonight. So thank you, guys. Hit that like on the way out. I really do appreciate everything you do for not only me, but all of these independent media creators on our side, because every single one of them is just as important. And I appreciate you. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive, guys. Right? Till tonight, I'll see you tomorrow. Wow. Till tonight, I'll see you tomorrow, I almost said. That makes sense. Good. Way to go, Bri. Way to finish it off strong. But no, I'll see you tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 here on the West Coast. Thank you, guys. Thank you, mods, as well, for keeping that chat a safe place. Couldn't do it without you. I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you guys in the chat. All right, I'll see you later on. I appreciate it. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Peace. What's up, Bobby?
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
This guy's been drunk all day.
He's the town drunk.
We always do about this time.
Yesterday's a hard word from me.
Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful night. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. Calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands. Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was. The Battle of Gettysburg, what an unbelievable, I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch.
Our Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys. But it was too late.
You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Go fuck yourself. Get off my plane.
Bad news, bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
Tell the director to call the White House. Do your fucking job.
Our Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see. A revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. The big, fat, sloppy United States.